welcome to episode 2 of Toxin Talk with Kurt. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here, and today we are going to talk about endotoxins. We're going to break down what an endotoxin is, how it affects your animals, how it affects your barn performance, and then some of the support you can give to those animals. Now, let's jump into it. So, what is an endotoxin? I think first it's important to identify that endotoxins are not mycotoxins. Mycotoxins come from feed grains, whereas endotoxins come from bacteria that is commonly found in the barn operations. Specifically though, gram-negative bacteria, and some of those gram-negative bacteria are E. coli, Salmonella, and Pseudomonas. There's a number of other gram-negative bacteria that are found, but predominantly the 3 E. coli, Salmonella, and Pseudomonas are the ones that we see day in and day out in the barn operations. Now, interestingly, we'll just take E. coli as an example. Each E. coli cell has these little spikes, and those are those endotoxin spikes that come out from each of that cell. They have approximately 2 million of those endotoxin spikes that are on each single bacterium that is found in the animal or in the environment. So let's jump into how those endotoxin spikes can affect the animal. So let's talk about how endotoxins directly impact the animal. Now, using the example again of gram-negative bacteria, E. coli, it's in the animal and it'll be constantly shedding those endotoxins during its life cycle. But this is where things get really interesting. When the animal's own immune system decides to attack that gram-negative bacteria, that E. coli, and destroys it, the last thing it'll do is it will shed all those up to 2 million endotoxins and release them into the animal. We also give antibiotics to the animal. Studies have shown that with a 5 milligram dose of lincomycin, it's potentially increasing the blood level of endotoxins by up to 1,466%. Now, it's doing a great thing. We have to give the antibiotic, but upon killing off all that gram-negative bacteria, it's basically releasing and flooding the animal with all those residual endotoxins once they die. Now, 2 very specific areas and how they affect the animal that I want to talk about is, one is gut health and the overall gut health of the animal. When an animal has a problem or has an issue with endotoxins, specifically in the gut, it creates an inflammation. And with that inflammation, it's going to directly affect the gut's natural ability to have the uptake of nutrients, absorb those nutrients, whether it's vitamins, minerals, fats, that the animal needs for overall health and growth. The other thing that it'll do, those endotoxins, is that it disrupts a very important part of the gut called a tight junction. And it's this area of the gut that helps prevent pathogens, whether it's viral or bacterial, from entering into the bloodstream. Those endotoxins irritate that tight junction to a point where it allows then that barrier to almost kind of come apart a bit, and those endotoxins will start leaking into the bloodstream and start really moving around to the other organs. Now, when it does that, this is where the second part of the endotoxins causing issues comes into effect, is that with all those endotoxins within that bloodstream, the animal's own immune system has to launch another attack against those endotoxins and look after them. With all this energy being devoted to endotoxins, it leaves the animal open to further issues or secondary infections, whether it be from a gram-positive infection like a staph infection or viral infection, that it then can really impact the overall health of the animal. So there's a number of other issues that it can do to affect the animal. Please, more than welcome, give me a shout and text me, email me, we can talk about it a little bit more. But let's move on though to how it affects actual barn performance. So how does this affect your barns and the performance? It can lower feed intake because the animals are feeling sick. It increases days to market, increases the number of animals that are not feeling well and open to secondary infections, more vet visits, more injections, more antibiotics into the animals. And the overall performance, which is money to the barn, can be greatly impacted when you're dealing with endotoxin challenged issues within your barn. So let's now move into some things we can do about it to help support the animals and help alleviate these endotoxin issues. So what are some of the things we can do to help support the animals, limit endotoxin problems within your barn? Number one, have a good idea as to what kind of E. coli, Salmonella, Pseudomonas levels are coming into your barn. Try and limit, if you can, those levels of E. coli that are coming into the barn. Take regular water tests. Limit environmental stresses on the animals. Have products that help support the gut, whether it be probiotics, prebiotics, organic acids, to help support that gut within the animal. As well, binders. There are binders out there that can bind up those endotoxin loads in the animal itself. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the endotoxin episode here. Look out for episode 3, and that should be coming in a couple weeks. And keep those questions coming, and look forward to the next time we meet and we talk. Thanks.